All right, well, let's return to that top story, the referendum in Greece, that stunning two-thirds victory for the No campaign, rejecting European austerity. We're going to see what reaction we've got in the papers today with Oliver Farry. Hi there, Oliver.
Hello.
Where are you taking us first?
Well, we're going to the left of the political spectrum, and they're pretty much in favour of the Greek no. The communist daily L'Humanity's front page shows two clenched fists raised with Ochi, the Greek for no, and no in English written on them. The headline reads, "Now respect the Greek people's no vote." Inside the paper, Maurice Ulrich's editorial speaks of a democratic lesson given to Europe. It's a thunderstrike in the Europe of austerity, the brave, lucid and powerful no from a people on its feet. Ulrich is also keen to point out that it's a no to austerity, not a no to Europe. It comes after a week of, quote, "all the dangers of fear-mongering by the sector of the Greek press in the hands of the forces of capital." And he says once again, a magnificent lesson in democracy given to Europe.
Right, so they're pretty pleased with what's happened, but let's face it, Greece is in a very uncertain position now, as is Europe. Nobody's sure what's going to happen.
Exactly. They might have been dancing on the streets of Athens last night, but the game is far from won. The centre-left daily Libération has a play on words on the name of Zeus. Its headline reads, "The no of Zeus." The Greeks followed their Prime Minister-elect Tsipras and refused to approve the conditions posed by the creditors for the bailout and earthquake in Europe. Now, we're going to notice a bit of a pattern today in the papers. There's a lot of recourse to Greek mythology, and I suppose writers and sub-editors couldn't resist themselves. Thankfully for them, it was Greece and not some obscure European country. You wouldn't know what trouble they might have coming up with headlines then. Libe's editorial, continuing in the same vein, is titled Odyssey.
At least they've got away from Greek drama and
yes,
Greek
I know.
tragedy.
There's still a lot of that in there.
A lot of cliche.
Yes, yeah.
And it's a very serious situation, but they're saying Odyssey, which is a bit more sober.
It is. It's a little bit more sober. Laurent Geoffrin asks if the no vote is a no to Europe. He doesn't really answer that, but he does say that Greece is about to thrust itself in a solitary odyssey worthy of the ordeals faced by Ulysses. Now, pedants will point out that Ulysses, aka Odysseus, was not actually alone when he set off on his odyssey. There is a danger of the no vote playing into the hands of nationalists and Eurosceptics, says Geoffrin, not to mention threatening the euro itself. But he says an end to austerity can offset that. It has had disastrous consequences, not just for Greece, but also Europe. He says, we must now choose between austerity and political disintegration. Will European leaders save Europe? Elsewhere in Le Parisien, the Paris Daily, a cartoon points out something that an awful lot of critics of the Eurozone have been commenting on since the economic crisis. One person says to another, if Greece were a bank, they'd have saved it without so much fuss. To which another man replies, well, if Greece were a bank, it would have been able to cook its books better.
OK, a little wry note there from Le Parisien. Those papers that you've mentioned, relatively supportive of Greece in this stance. What about papers that aren't so happy?
Well, you'll find them on the right of the political spectrum. Le Figaro's front page headline does not laud a vote against austerity, but a no, which means, quote, Greece takes a big step towards exiting the euro. It notes the words of the German economy minister Sigmar Gabriel, who said that Greece has now burned its last bridges with Europe. Though I think if you actually look at a map of Europe, it's still there this morning. Le Figaro's editorial is called simply clarification. No heartwarming praise for people's self-determination here. It's the solemn warnings against the dangers of the referendum made no difference. The Greeks decided to follow Alexis Tsipras in his mad adventure. Tsipras, it says, is delusional. He has deceived his own people. Referendum or not, nobody has any intention of providing Greece with another blank cheque. A terrible turn of the vice now closes around Greece, and barring a miracle, the much-dreaded Grexit is in motion. The pro-business daily L'Opinion talks of a mess in the wake of the referendum. Greece slams the door in the euro's face, it says. Europe's leaders appear to be taken off guard, having prepared nothing for the eventuality of the euro. It says, imagine for a moment the captain of the Titanic summoning the passengers to ask them whether he veers port or starboard as the iceberg approaches at high speed. Well, this, according to l'Opinion, is the behaviour of EU leaders who have now left it too late to deal with this eventuality, even though the IMF in its report last Friday admitted that concessions will be necessary. But European leaders, just like the Greek government, appear to be improvising as they go along.
This paper's almost chastising the Greek people for supporting the no, really, aren't they? It is not just Greece that's in danger, though. It is the rest of Europe as well, specifically the euro currency.
That's right. In an opinion piece on Les Echos, editor Nicolas Barret explains the meaning of the no. The Eurozone, he says, is undergoing its worst crisis in its short history. It will come out stronger, but that's supposing that there's going to be exceptional leadership from EU bosses who to date have shown nothing of the sort. And he says patience is wearing thin elsewhere in Europe. He wonders if there were a Europe-wide referendum, would many countries support Greece? Greek voters have chosen a leap into the unknown, he says, and Alexis Tsipras has ruined his chances of a compromise. He is, quote, now facing a Europe that is tempted to say no in return. The story is a tragic one.
All right, we'll see what the rest of the international papers have to say about all of this later on. Thanks very much for now. Oliver Farry, our paper reviewer here on France 24.